terrible. It's more of the same, and I think it's a terrible thing.
You know,
and he's a maniac.
A spokesperson.
He's a maniac. I think he's a sick person, and I think he was probably a person ready to go.
Donald Trump on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday calling the Colorado Planned Parenthood shooter a maniac. Now, reports say the alleged shooter, identified as Robert Louis Deere, told officers while being taken into custody, no more baby parts, suggesting this was motivated to send a pro-life message. So what does this do to the pro-life movement? We are now pleased to be joined by the founder of the Eagle Forum, Phyllis Schlafly. Phyllis, also author of the book, Who Killed the American Family. Welcome, Phyllis. How are you today?
Hello, JD Jr. Glad to join you.
That's a great compliment to be called JD Jr. I'll take it. All right, it's really nice to see your smiling face today. You know, pro-choice advocates, they're going to use this, obviously. They're saying it's because of the language and the rhetoric used by the GOP that someone like this would carry out this horrific act. What is your response to that?
No, I think that's ridiculous. There are a lot of people who have committed terrible crimes in connection with abortion, and we don't want to validate or assume responsibility for any of them. What they're doing in that abortion clinic is just turn the stomach of most Americans. We've all seen the pictures, and we don't want to see any more. We want them to stop what they're doing.
Well, of course, there's going to be heated rhetoric. I don't have to tell you that. And Ben Carson was on ABC's This Week Sunday, and he responded to all the extremism out there. And he had this soundbite. Take a listen to this, Phyllis.
It's one of the biggest problems that I think is threatening to tear our country apart. We get into our separate corners and we hate each other. We want to destroy those with whom we disagree. It comes from both sides. So, you know, there is no saint here in this equation.
Now, Phyllis, he also urged that as a nation, we need to engage in rational discourse and discussion. Do you agree with Ben Carson? Are we no longer having rational discussions about our disagreements? You've been talking about politics for a long time. What are your thoughts?
I don't agree with what Ben Carson said at all. I don't think this is, when you kill somebody, that's rational discussion. And I think the pictures of how they take apart the baby parts and then sell them and try to maximize their sales appeal is just so horrific that it should not be allowed in a civilized society. And I don't think it promotes any rational discussion.
Former Arkansas governor and strong pro-life movement supporter Mike Huckabee was on State of the Union and urged people to understand the shooter was really an isolated event.
What he did is domestic terrorism, and what he did is absolutely abominable, especially to those of us in the pro-life movement, because there's nothing about any of us that would condone or in any way look the other way at something like this.
Phyllis, curious your take. Do we need more outspoken people like Huckabee to condemn these shootings and to say, hey, this is not what the pro-life movement is about?
Well, I think it's so obviously not part of the pro-life movement. And I think people should calmly just say that. But in any event, there's no way that we could be connected with it in any way. We've been arguing legitimately and politely for so long. And we haven't gotten anywhere with changing the law, but we're working on that, and we expect to.
2016 presidential candidate Carly Fiorina on Fox News Sunday called linking the Colorado shooting to the pro-life movement just plain wrong. Take a listen to this.
So what I would say to anyone who tries to link this terrible tragedy to anyone who opposes abortion or opposes the sale of body parts is this is typical left-wing tactics.
Is the left going to use the videos, use what happened in their fight against those videos? And what should members of the pro-life movement do when they're discussing what's happening inside those Planned Parenthood facilities?
Well, I think the left may try to do it, but I don't think they'll get by with it because it's so ridiculous. And I would hope that people will brush them off and say that's not the issue. The issue is what is being done to babies in the abortion clinics, and we just don't approve that, and we need to keep emphasizing that it isn't what the pro-lifers want, and altogether, the violence is just what we're against. That's how and why we're against what's going on.
Now, we just showed you the array of Republican candidates. I know a lot of those candidates are reaching out to you, Phyllis. Obviously, an endorsement from Phyllis Schlafly means a lot. Tell me about that process. Do they call you up? Are they looking for your endorsement? How have the discussions been? I think last go around you supported Rick Santorum, correct?
Yes, that's right. And, well, they've been very pleasant, and I've been polite to them all, and they know I'm going to vote Republican, no question about that. I think we've got to have a change. I have not quite made up my mind yet, but one of these days you'll know. And then I think it will be important because there are a lot of people who seem to pay attention to what I say.
They sure do, and they've been doing it for a long time. Phyllis Schlafly, thank you so much. Once again, the book is Who Killed the American Family? Always interesting to hear your take on the issues of the day. And certainly, a lot of the candidates will be looking for your endorsement. We'll wait to hear what you have to say in the months to come. Thank you so much, Phyllis. Have a great day. And we want to hear from you. Send us your comments. What do you think about that last discussion with Phyllis Schlafly? What are your thoughts about what happened at that Planned Parenthood facility in Colorado? Send us your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. And then right after the break, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie gets a major endorsement in New Hampshire, but his stance on gun control could prove a problem for him in that state. Our panel will discuss straight ahead.